When it comes to AI and audio, Premiere Pro has additional features that can be very helpful for a workflow with multiple audio sources. In this particular example with Chapter 1.5, we're going to take a look at how we can use Premiere Pro and tagging our clips automatically to have certain audio sources duck against other audio sources. When I refer to the word duck, in common video editing, you might have an interview which you play back and want to have the sound duck against that or be lowered against the dialogue source in order to hear it correctly. When I play back this particular sequence from the beginning with the spacebar,
In 2022, I was granted the experience of a lifetime. I landed in Iceland and was able.
we can hear that it's very hard to hear the voiceover currently on the V1 track next to the audio that is on V2. So like we did in the previous movie, I'm going to select all of these audio sources identified by green and just clicking and dragging to select them all. Since I'm in my audio workspace, I have the essential sound panel here on the right-hand side. I'm just going to try to auto tag each of these three clips. So let's just see what it did in the background. I'm going to select the first clip. This is the voiceover, the second voiceover element, and the clip here on the bottom, it's identified as music. And having these different classifications can work to our advantage. In fact, music is typically what we're going to duck against a dialogue source. And you'll see with it selected, I have an option here to duck against other tagged audio source. In fact, I'm going to use that to my advantage. I'm going to click on the ducking section of Essential Sound to make it active. And now I have a series of parameters which I can take advantage of. So how much do I want to duck the audio by? And then the fade duration and fade position against the sources it's ducking against, as well as the sensitivity. I'll use these default properties to generate keyframes. And we can see these negative 18 ducks now against the dialogue source across our sequence. Let me just play this back so we can get a sense for the ducks.
In 2022, I was granted the experience of a lifetime. I landed in Iceland and was able to travel it by car from coast to coast. Join me and fellow trainer Ian Robinson as we take you through some of the landscapes we saw, not to mention the live volcano that erupted while we were there. I can't wait for you to join us.
So the ducks did take place, and not to mention we can see how quickly it fades up and fades down. Another thing we can do is adjust these values and always generate new keyframes depending on the type of audio that we have. So I want to duck this audio even further based on the current situation. So I'm going to duck this to -24 to hear the voiceover even more. And in order to have the fade duration be a bit quicker, I'm going to drag the slider to the left in this instance to just around 600. I can also enter an amount here and keep the sensitivity as is because I don't have a lot of dialogue sources in this case. So let's just generate keyframes again. And we'll see there that it adjusts based on the new decibel amount that we entered for duck amount and the fade duration. Let's play this back again.
In 2022, I was granted the experience of a lifetime.
And we can hear that the audio is a lot lower. Keep in mind, we can always go back to our original dialogue audio and enhance that, remove any background noise, and make just the general audio sound better. Let's move to the beginning and play this back.
In 2022, I was granted the experience of a lifetime. I landed in Iceland and was able to travel it by car from coast to coast. Join me and fellow trainer Ian Robinson as we take you through some of the land.
And keep in mind, we can adjust the music audio yet again in order to have it now duck against the changes that we made to the voiceover that's identified as dialogue. And that is how we can duck audio using AI inside of Premiere Pro.